Okay, yeah, I can see it. We're up live and running, so we're good to go. All right, we're gonna get started. We'll see if anybody logs in here and checks it out at some point. I'm sure people watch it, but anyway, so Will here. Welcome to the Ensign's Chair. Today I am going. Hang on, because why is this saying? All right. Sorry for the interruption, but OBS said it disconnected. So anyway, we are going to talk about 10 things that you need to know if you're attending Wonderfest for the first time. Joining me on our conversation, Cass from Lake Monster Details. Say hello, Cass. And
Hello, everybody.
Chris. Chris is joining us from Farragut Forward. He was on Farragut Forward. If you haven't watched it, he is one of the
Hi,
Klingons.
everybody.
One of the Klingons you will see in the background. Well, not even the background. Sometimes in the foreground too. You got a couple pretty good shots in that one.
Yeah,
But
I got a couple nice shots.
hopefully the video is coming through okay for everybody. But like I said, we just want to kind of, as we're leading up to Wonderfest, I kind of wanted to just have a discussion with or about some things that people should know. If you haven't been to Wonderfest the first time, there's some stuff that it helps to know in advance, especially if you're not going maybe to this one. There's a couple things I'm going to talk about. It's a little too late to do anything about with this one, but it is viable. You'll be able to use these suggestions for next year's Wonderfest. So let's see if I can bring up my list of 10 things here. I'm still learning this, so bear with me. And they may not be able to hear you just like last week, Cass, when we had that issue when I've got something else pulled up for some reason you're not showing up. But so 10 things we want to talk about today. First thing is stay at the Crown Plaza. Cass, I was talking about, I know the first time you and I went, we stayed at, what was it, the True?
Yeah, the True by Hilton, I think.
And it was, I mean, it's just across the parking lot, and it's not a bad hotel at all. I mean, and it's a little bit cheaper than the Crown Plaza, but I think you would agree that it's been a lot better kind of staying at the Crown Plaza, kind of in the middle of everything, you know.
Yeah, you're in the same building as everybody else. You don't have to walk across a couple of parking lots. There's not going to be an elevator that's going to try to kill you like the one at the Hilton or the True tried to do to me. So it's just nice to kind of just be so close to everything. But if you can't make it into the main hotel, I mean, it's any hotel is going to be fine as long as you can make it to the show.
Yeah, it's like
So
easier to walk to it if you stay at one of the ones that's nearby, and there's several of them nearby. There's at least three or four, maybe even five different hotels like right in that vicinity. But I just like it a lot better staying in the middle of everything because, and I was talking to Chris about this before we started broadcasting that, it's nice to be able to just walk around, and sometimes there's gatherings. I guess we'll call them gatherings. I don't want to say parties because when you say parties, everybody's like, "Yeah, toga time." It's not that type of party. It's Geek Fest. So
And
you
thank
know,
goodness it's not.
no, some people do not belong in the toga. But you do have quite a few gatherings, and some people even you'll walk around and you'll find that some people even just have the hotel room open, the door open. It's like walk on in, nobody cares. Maybe ask before you walk into
yep.
somebody's room, but there's some people. I mean, I've walked by. I mean, Cass, we walked into. You might have known them. We walked into a room last year. I didn't know any of the people. Do you remember that? The first room, not the one that Steve does. There was another room that was like down the hall from us.
Yeah, boy, I've walked into so many rooms. It's tough to. I'm trying to remember what the name. They actually have a name for the room, and I can't remember what the name is. It won't come to me till I'm there. But yeah, they leave the doors kind of open. Not like closed all the way, uh, and it's just you just go from room to room. Just go down the hall, listen to where all the noise is coming from, and just walk on in. And no one's going to be like, hey, who are you, or what are you doing in here? I mean, it's everybody is just like, it's like we're all family, we're all friends, everybody knows each
Yep.
other, and they'll
Right.
They'll have like a liquor bar like in the room sometimes, and they just
Hmm.
help yourself. Celebrities have come into the rooms. I think
Yeah. Yeah.
last year, Nick Tate came into one of the rooms while I was in there and was chilling
Yep.
out with everybody. Yeah,
I know
it's
Martha was in
I
Martha
thought
was
that
in
was
Yeah.
pretty
Steve's
cool.
room, the Cult TV Man room.
Yeah,
And I think Steve's is more one you
yep,
kind of
Marta
I think
Kristen.
Steve's is one you kind of got to have more of like an invitation to come into. It's his store is not typically like
Uh, well, not necessarily. Steve, if it was invitation only, he wouldn't have his door propped open, a little bit too.
right, right.
But it's we all kind of those of us who know Steve really well gather there. Um, Sometimes some of the sponsored guests will visit the Cult TV Man suite. It doesn't happen every year. Like I don't think anybody really special showed up last year. It was just you know me and Steve's friends and me. I was there. Paul from Paragraphics was there. Lou from Aztec Dummy. We were all kind of hanging out in there. I spent, I think the first year that I went to Wonderfest, I spent most of my time in Steve's room. But these last couple of years, I've been just going around to uh, just crashing every room I could find, and this is which is one of the reasons why I was up until 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, every night.
Yeah,
So,
If you
yeah.
do it
Well,
right, there's not a lot of
but
time to
yeah,
sleep.
my old butt's in the bed, by like 10, 11 o'clock at night. Cass comes around because we share a room, which kind of goes into another thing I want to mention if we're talking about getting a room at the Crown Plaza. They are a little more pricey, but Cass and I, we share the room. This will be our third year sharing a room. I know the first year went at True. We just kind of had our own rooms, but it does help. I mean, obviously, if you got your wife or significant other with you, they probably don't want to share a room with another man, but maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe that's your thing, but that's your business. So, but but Cass and I mean, we share the room, and even though I don't know why I'm surprised he still shares a room with me because I'm sure I snore, but we get along. We manage for 2 or 3 nights, and
well, thank God for the white noise apps that you have on your phone, I guess.
yeah, yeah. But
No,
that is an option,
you're
though.
Will, you're not too bad.
Yeah.
I've shared rooms before and had much worse, so don't worry about it.
But that is an option if cost is a concern and it's just you and you have a friend that wants to go to Wonderfest as well, or hey, maybe you make a friend when you go your first time. I mean, I made a lot of friends since I've been going there the past. Well, this is our fourth year, I think, Cass, isn't it?
I make new friends every year.
Yeah,
Every
yeah.
It's in fact I probably have maybe 20 or more people that I regularly keep contact with now since I first started going to Wonderfest that I had no clue who they were before.
Well,
So
well,
it's a
we're going to
great place
talk
to
about that.
meet people, make friends.
We're going to talk about that here in a little bit.
You're what?
That's another one of my points. We'll talk
Oh
about that
yeah,
here in a
yeah. I don't
minute.
want to jump the
Yeah,
gun
don't
too
jump the
much.
gun, Cass. But anyway, that was my first suggestion. Was just stay at the Crown Plaza if you can, and it's just you're in the center of everything. It's a lot easier to walk to things. And it's just that they're doing some remodeling too. They've been remodeling for like what a couple of years now, and I don't know if they're done yet or not, but they should have a most. I
I'd
would
be
think they,
surprised if they were still not done yet,
yeah, they should be because
because they got a lot done between the one year.
right,
In one year, they got most of the place done. So
yeah, yeah. So they've
Oh
done a full
wow.
remodel
Yeah, I
on it.
remember
If
there was
they're
a lot closed off.
yeah, yeah, they
yeah,
had the
yep.
they had the padding up in the elevator. It wasn't for people going crazy, or that was because they didn't want the elevator getting tore up when people were going taking construction materials up because they had one whole floor closed off last year, which kind of limited the amount of rooms they had available too. But um,
Well, they
they should.
probably should put up some padding at some of the suites, just because for some of us that do go crazy.
All right, Cass, we don't want to hear about your personal escapades,
Yeah.
but
Hey,
so
another great reason for staying at the Crown, very simply, ease of access.
right,
If you are someone who's going there for purchasing stuff, there is nothing better than being able to walk out of that vendor floor and take it right back to your hotel room, drop
exactly.
it off, turn around, and go right back out. I
Yeah.
mean, sure, you might be able to take things out to your car, but who knows how far away you're parked? Or if you're at another hotel, you might get stuck with hands full, and then you're looking at that thing that you want, and you're looking over at the stuff that you have, and you might have to make some serious decisions. So you
Right.
can save yourself some time, some trouble, and heartache by having that room available.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's also worth mentioning too that especially if you are entering a model in the contest, it's a lot better to have a room there. And what I
Oh
typically
yeah.
did was take my models up to my room the night before. That way, the next morning I could just truck them down to the display room, and that way it's a lot easier to do that transition. And then when the model room closes Sunday evening, Sunday afternoon, you can just take it right back up to your room instead of having to truck it across, to whatever hotel you're staying at. So,
Hmm.
so definitely excellent point. Let's see what our next topic I want to mention here is reserve your room early. So,
Oh
uh,
yes.
yeah, if the rooms, if I remember correctly, I think there's like two blocks usually. There's a first block that comes open. I want to say by the end of June. Cass, do you remember? Does that sound right? I don't. I booked the room, so I should
Uh,
know. You would think, but I don't remember if it was the end of June or July. It
It
was
was
definitely
fairly
not
early.
long. Yeah, it was not
yeah,
long.
Yeah.
it was early. Yep.
It's not long
Yeah.
after Wonderfest is over that they released the first block of rooms, and it
I would
doesn't.
say it was within the first month, definitely
Yeah,
within like maybe 2 or 3 weeks.
and it doesn't cost you anything to book the room. You can go in, book the room. They do take a credit card, but they don't charge you anything. So they basically take your credit card information just as a verification, I guess, that you're an actual
Mhm.
person booking this room, and so people aren't going and booking like blocks of rooms and then trying to resell them or something. But uh, it doesn't cost you anything. You go in, you book the room, and if you change your mind, you're not able to go. Or, for instance, I changed my reservation this year because I was originally planning on going on Thursday because I wasn't planning on relocating to Nevada at the time. And now I'm out here. My work schedule changed, so I ended up I couldn't get there Thursday. So I went, changed my booking, called the hotel, changed it, easy to do. They changed it to Friday. No money exchange hands, and you don't pay till you actually show up for your Wonderfest. So uh, book your room early. Like I said, they usually have the two blocks. Usually they do one right off, and then I think they do another one maybe like October or November or something like that. They do another block, but it's a much smaller block of rooms that they make available, and it's just better to do it right off the bat rather than kind of putting a delay on it and waiting till last minute. Because if you wait, then you may be in that position to where you're having to book at the True or one of the other hotels. So just worth mentioning. But book your room early and register on Friday. Usually, I'm registering for Cass because Cass you don't typically get until later on Friday, and
Yeah, Friday evenings because I drive.
yeah, so usually booking, and I think they changed it this year if I'm not mistaken. I want to say I thought in the past they'd only had registration open on Fridays from like 5 to 7 or something like that. And I don't know if anybody remembers otherwise, but it looks like this year, according to the schedule, it's from 2 to 8. So you've got a lot
Okay.
of time to get over there and register on Friday. And the great thing about register on Friday is you avoid the line on Saturday. Because if you don't
That line
register,
is tedious.
yes, if you
Yeah.
don't register, and on Friday you can register, you can get your pass, you can register whatever models you want to enter into the contest, and you can do all that Friday and avoid that line Saturday. Because if you wait till Saturday morning, not only do you have to stand in the line for registration, then you have to stand in the line to take your model into the display room. So it kind of it's a little better if you go ahead and like I said, from 2 to 8's great because that means you're not going to have any line at all. You shouldn't anyway when you get there. So when I get there, I was saying my flight gets in at 1, so I'll be over the hotel by 2. So I'll probably be able to head straight over there and get registered that way. Avoid any lines for the people that show up later in the day. There may be lines, but that's just my suggestion is that when you get there, go ahead and get registered on Friday if you can, and avoid that line on Saturday. So just another point to make there. Anybody got anything else to add into that? I mean, it's pretty cut and dry there.
Early, early, early. Get that stuff out of the way so you can enjoy what you're actually there for.
Definitely.
Yep.
That's the big thing.
All right. Next topic.
Be there. I do plan on being there early enough to be able to register because I do have two models I'll be entering into the contest.
Oh,
And
that's right. You do.
so
You go,
So
big
that,
dog.
another reason for me to get up extra early on Friday for that 13-hour drive.
Right. Right.
Uh,
Right. All right. So our next my so my next suggestion is get the early bird. Um, if I don't, Cass, I know the first year we went, you were helping Steve, so I know you got early access because you had the
Nope.
pass. You were helping Steve, right? Didn't you, or did you not?
No, I didn't help Steve set up. I helped Steve take down.
Oh, okay, all
mm,
right.
yeah, I
But
did that last year too. I helped Steve take down.
I know
Yeah.
every year I have not gotten early bird, and this will be our fourth year, and I don't get it because I haven't felt the need to. My suggestion is if you're looking for a hard to find model, if you know somebody's going to be there that usually has garage kits and you want to get one of those kits, then get the early bird. Because if you wait, you don't get the early bird and you wait until everybody's allowed access, it's probably all going to be gone by the time you get in there. And on top of that, and I'm not sure of this, but I think somebody told me some of the vendors do early bird specials where it's like a discounted price or percentage off or something like that. If you come in for the
Ooh, good
early
to
bird.
know.
Yeah, I think I haven't, like I said, I haven't done the early bird, but I thought somebody had told me that some of the vendors do discounts for the early bird. Uh, that's something I'm going to have to verify this
I
year,
will
though.
be doing the early bird this year,
Do the
so
early
we can
bird
discuss it after the fact.
and let us know. But
Yep.
definitely, like I said, if you're looking for a hard to find kit, do the early bird because by the time you get in there, any hard to find kits are usually gone. You'll see people coming out with cartloads of kits, and you'll be like, oh, "I wanted that kit." Well, it's gone because you didn't get the early bird. So uh, some people do the early bird, like I said. It's
Another great reason to get the early bird. There's swag designed for the conventions. Like
yes,
Wonderfest has T-shirts that are specifically, every year they'll have like a different design for their T-shirts. I didn't know this, and last year was my first ever Wonderfest. And I kind of took it as just wandering around trying to get the lay of the land. And unfortunately, I missed out on a lot of stuff by doing that. And by the time I realized, hey, there's cool T-shirts people are walking around in, they was all gone, and I was stuck without one. And that's not happening this year. I'm getting my T-shirt.
yeah, they do. I know Wonderfest when you go in. As far as I can remember, years past, their table is the first one on the right every time when you go in those doors into the vendor hall, the main vendor hall, because there are two vendor halls. But excuse me. So if you want some of that swag that tends to sell out, again, get the early bird. I don't remember what the price is. I think it's like $20 extra for the early bird.
20
I
or
don't know if it,
25. It wasn't even
yeah,
more than
something
that, I
like
don't
that.
think.
But it's there if people want to use it. That's just my suggestion as far as why I would get the early bird. All right, get right.
About money.
So get to the display room early. And when I say display room, I mean not if you're going to view models, but if you're entering a model, the later you wait, the longer the line's going to be. Now, if you don't have anything if you don't have like a large model or a model that requires electric, it's not a big deal. You can wait till the line dies down and go down, take your model down. But I suggest highly if you've got a large model or if you require electricity to run your model, you get down there as early as possible because those spots will fill up, those electrical outlets get taken up. I was talking to Chris about this before we started the stream, but I think like the year before last, they actually threw the breaker because they had so many models, so many electrical extensions plugged in. You know, it's like a daisy chain down the table that it actually shorted out, and they ended up having to pull some of the models off electric because, or I forget what they did with it, but they found some resolution for it. So actually,
It's not
last
good
year,
when you hear somebody scream, "Turn on auxiliary power."
right? So last year, to avoid that, I actually brought a 12-volt battery pack. It was a Ryobi 12-volt battery pack that you can just swap batteries out on, and you can plug. It's a 12-volt outlet, so you just plug in, and that ran both my models all day. So I never even had to worry about having electric access. So that's an option for you if you don't want to. If your model's going to require electric and you don't want to have to worry about it, get one of those electric battery packs you can just plug in, and then you don't have to worry about it. But like I said, definitely get down there earlier if you've got a large model. If you got a big model, they'll work you in, but it's going to be harder to do once they've got all the other models in place. And you come in with this large, one 650 Enterprise D that you now want to plop down on the table, and now they've got to make room for it and rearrange stuff. So, and they really
Now there's
don't
going to
like,
be more of those.
yeah, and they have ushers that I don't think they call them ushers, but they have ushers that kind of escort people in when they put their models down to make sure they're the ones that kind of touch the models. They don't want a bunch of different people touching everybody's models when they come in. So they'll move stuff around, and they really don't like to do that because they're having to move somebody's stuff, and they don't want to be responsible if something gets broken on it. So just do everybody a favor. If you've got a big model, you require electric, get down there early so that way you can get set in place without having to disrupt everybody else's setups.
Not only
Oh, yeah,
that, but
people
who
can grab
wants
a
to
drink
stand in
stuff.
line for an hour holding, a 20-pound model?
Yeah. Well, I brought my cart. The last 2 years I had a little cart that I stuck mine on, especially that big bird of prey, because you don't want to stand there holding that model, that war rocket. I think you held it for me last year because
Yeah,
it
I
needed
know.
to be held. It was
And
either
then
that
people
or the
people cut through or walk through, and you're always
yeah,
worried that someone's going to bump into the model. And
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Oh, nice model. Click. Oh, did that come off the model?
yeah,
Yeah. But just get down.
With big models, there was last year there was a gentleman who brought, I think it was a Battleship Yamato
Mm-hmm.
model.
oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yes, that
Yeah.
was huge.
It was gigantic. And unfortunately, he was not able to enter it into the competition because it didn't meet the size requirements.
Yeah, because he actually
So
had that on
anybody
its
out
own
there
rolling
who
base,
wants to
didn't he?
do a big model, yeah, if anybody wants to do a big model, I recommend that you try to find out what the size requirements are so you don't end up wasting your time.
Yeah, because I think they
No,
do
was
have.
it too big for the size requirements? Like, or
It was
just
too big. There was a
yeah?
cap on the
It was
size requirements
huge.
and it was too
When you
big.
said it didn't meet the requirements, I was like, well, wait a sec. But yeah, so it'd be too
Yeah.
big. Yeah, that would that I guarantee you that model would have won
Oh,
Yeah,
it was
awards.
beautiful. It was
and
so beautiful.
Yep,
wasn't he dressed in
yep.
the Yamato battle uniform or something?
He was.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was.
It was a beautiful model.
And
I took
I
pictures of
talked
it.
to him a little bit. Yeah, I got to talk to him a little bit. He was such a pleasant guy, a genuinely kind guy, and he took it really well. He was a
Yeah,
very kind, humble guy, and his model stayed outside of the vendor or outside of the model area, and people were still coming up and looking at
yeah,
it and commenting on it because it was glorious.
yeah. I remember
Yes.
he was out there
You know,
posing with it, and it was a cool add-on that he was dressed in the uniform. But yeah, he had it on
yeah.
its own rolling display base, I guess. I don't know if he just intended for that to be used to roll it in and roll it out, or if he was going to actually display it on that. But
It served him well.
it was a huge model. Yeah, it's a good thing he had it because that way he did have a chance to show it to everybody. All right, so we're halfway. Number 6, biggest rule that we have at Wonderfest: don't touch the models. Dude,
Ooh.
Mm.
everybody knows
Oh,
don't touch. There's big signs all over the place. There's always a sign, usually right at every model too, says don't touch the models. Um, and I was talking about this again with Chris before you joined in there, Cass, about the year before last. I like to do display bases that have buttons on it. They have sound effects. When I brought that big bird of prey, I was fine with people pushing the photon torpedo launcher, and that was fine. I had to sign up. Feel free to push it. But then people were pushing other buttons on it that I didn't want them pushing, you know. And I come
Yep,
by
that's
they
and
were
right.
pushing your buttons.
because I had a button that played the Klingon theme in loop, and it had its own speaker and amplifier. So I come into the model room because I like to go in and check on my models, to see how they're doing. And I hear the Klingon theme. I'm like, is that coming from my model? I walk up like, oh my
Yep.
god, it's like blaring. So I had to cut it down to where even if somebody pushed the button again, it wouldn't play. You wouldn't hear it. But it was, yeah. So last year, if you remember, my War Rocket had all kinds of buttons on it, and I actually put a plexiglass cover over the
Hmm.
buttons so people would not touch the buttons. And I think somebody still touched the buttons, but it at
I'm
least cut
sorry, I
down
couldn't
on it.
help it.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably you. That figures. But it cut down on it at least. There wasn't, it's just don't touch the models. If the model builder is there and you ask, then that's fine. But if the model builder's not there, just don't feel like it's okay to go pushing buttons because model builders spend a lot of times on these models. Uh, they have a lot of love for these models. Typically, once they finish them, they're proud of them. They want to be able to take them back home. Some people sell them, like I did. I think I sold the Bird of Prey at that one Wonderfest because I didn't want to truck it back home because it was a huge model. If you remember,
Mhm.
Cass, I know Cass was there. I know, Chris, I know that last year was your first year, so you weren't there for that. But
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen pictures of it. But it was just a huge model. I was like, I don't want to truck it back. But if you mess around, but you break something, well, now they got no choice but to take it home because nobody's going to buy a broken model because
Yep.
somebody messed with it. So just number one rule, the golden rule at Wonderfest: please don't touch the models. Look at them, admire them, take plenty of pictures of them. And like I said, a lot of times, especially the larger detail, the larger models, the model builder will stand around, will hang around for questions in case anybody has questions about it. It's great to talk to those model builders and kind of get some info. I know one thing and I don't want to get into this too much because it's something we're going to talk about next Friday for the Wonderfest kickoff. But I'm really looking forward to, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. Who's building the Excelsior model? I know you.
Oh,
I know you
Hagen
know
Miller.
Hagen Miller.
Hagen
I don't know
Miller.
why I'm drawing
Yeah.
a blank on Hagen Miller's name, but
He
um,
got to it before I did. I
yeah,
haven't quite
yeah.
gotten mine started yet.
Well, I get bubbles in my brain sometimes, and I just can't think of stuff. But he's bringing that. I'm pretty sure he's bringing that Excelsior model next week because I've seen them showing pictures of a
I
case.
think his goal is to get it done and brought.
Yeah.
He's been talking about it, so
So I'm
he
really
even
looking
has
He's
like
doing
forward
the
this
to.
one
like a
350.
no. I think
I
his
think he's
is
got a
the 650,
650, I
and
think.
he actually has a custom carrying case, like
Oh wow.
professionally lined with foam that fits the contour of the model and everything.
Yeah. I think it's a
You
Pelican carrying
look at
case. I
that
think
and think that carrying case cost about as much as the model did.
probably,
So
probably so.
he's definitely coming with his guns loaded.
But I'm looking forward to talking to him about his model and getting some pictures. And I need to contact him and see if I can maybe just do like an interview on the channel with him about his model. It's a beautiful model, so I'm looking forward to seeing it in person. But um, things like that, if the builder is there, ask him, talk to him. There's a lot of I've talked to quite a when especially when I had that big bird of prey. I had a lot of people stop and talk to me about it, and builders love talking about their models and the techniques they use to build it. So stop by, talk to them, and we're going to get into a little more on that topic here in a minute. So next one, check out the vendor rooms. I'm going to pop these next two up because they kind of go hand in hand. But check out the vendor rooms and attend some presentations.
Oh
Obviously,
yes.
the vendor rooms are a big draw there because there's a lot of stuff you can get there that maybe you can't get anyplace else. And if you can get anyplace else, usually you can get it cheaper at Wonderfest at times because they run discounts on it. But there's a lot of great things to check out in the vendor rooms because it's not just selling model kits and stuff like that. Especially in the smaller vendor room, you have a lot of celebrities. And you know what? I don't think John Eves is going to be there this year because I don't see him on the.
Oh no.
I haven't seen his name
Really?
on.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
yeah, it would be the first year he hadn't been there since we've been going. But I don't see his name on
Met
there. And
him
usually his.
last year, and that was such a genuine pleasure.
Now I haven't looked at the
I
vendor
was on
list,
a
but
plane with him for
typically,
3 hours just waiting to leave the airport.
yeah, was
And
that
him
the
and I
No
first
were
year?
wonder
DMing
he's
each
not
other
coming
from
this year.
That's why
our plane
I'm
was
not going.
delayed and we were just sitting in the plane.
He's not going because of that
So
cast guy from Lake Monster Details.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
probably why, yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, he still owes me an Enterprise B artwork, so I was hoping to catch him this year, but yeah, and I haven't looked at the vendor list, but typically John Eves is one of those personalities when he's coming. He's one of those ones that the Wonderfest will put on Facebook. John Eves, he's coming this year. So, and I haven't seen that, so I don't. I'm guessing John's not going to make it this year, which sucks because he's a great guy to talk to, and he's always real
Oh yeah.
friendly to get photos with, and he's got some great artwork that he's made that he brings to Wonderfest to buy there. So, um, that's gonna suck if he's not there. But there's a lot of other great vendors there as well. So just make sure you go to the vendor rooms,
Hey,
check
Rick
them out.
Sternbach.
Yeah,
I was
Rick is
just gonna
always there
say that.
too.
Yep,
Yeah, Rick.
was
Rick
there.
Sternbach's going to be there. He's the greatest guy, nicest guy. Stop by his table, say hi.
Yeah,
He's very good.
yeah. And Rick
The
is going to be
wealth
there
of
this year.
knowledge.
Yeah, Rick is going to be there this year because I think he's got an actual Voyager presentation he's doing in one of the classrooms, I believe.
Ooh, I'll be there for that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the schedule next week when we do our little kickoff once we're actually at Wonderfest. But yeah, so there's a bunch of cool presentations they got going on that we're going to talk about next week. So check out that. But I also mentioned, so check out the vendor rooms and attend some presentations because there's usually a lot of great presentations there. Unfortunately, like I said, it doesn't look like round two is doing one this year, which creates a problem because that means it's going to be hard to get information about anything as far as the Reliant 1350 or any other models that people are interested in that may be coming out. And so I don't know. I mean, if they're not doing the presentation, that kind of stinks. But still,
Shame, round two.
and
Shame.
I know Jamie said last year was his last time, so I don't know who they're going to have there this year at the table. I'm sure they're still going to have a table in the vendor hall. Again, I'd have to look at the vendor list to see, but I'm pretty sure they're always there. But like I was talking to Cass about last week when we were doing the live stream. It would be nice to kind of walk in and just all of a sudden there's a 1350 Reliant demo sitting there. You know, there's what they call them, the when they make the God, why am I drawing
Yeah,
blanks on
they're
names of
the
everything?
test shots or something.
The test shots,
Or
and then sometimes they actually have prototype, a prototype of the
a
model that they're
prototype,
working on
yeah.
there. That would be great if you walked in there and they walked to the table and, oh, it's a 1350 prototype, and then people are popping in their pants and stuff because they that's a 1350. You know what? My suggestion to round two would be just deny everything, be quiet about it, deny it, and then just let people just walk in there and all of a sudden see it. On Saturday, a 1350 Reliant just sitting on the table. And of course, people in the area, the vicinity, are going to be walking around. Why does it smell like a house of ill repute around here? Because, but
Of course, some of us may already have a 1350 Reliant.
yeah.
Commercial models.
Yeah, rub it in.
Mm-hmm. It'll never get built. You should give that to
What
somebody
would be
that'll
really
build it.
funny is if they had that 350 scale Reliant and the at their table, and everyone's like, "Oh wow, you're finally coming out with this," and whoever's in charge of the round two tables like, "Oh, who put that there?
Yeah.
Deny."
Deny. Yes. You know what would really, really blow people's minds? Walk in there for Saturday morning, they have a 1350 Reliant, and then all of a sudden you walk in Friday morning, they got a 1000 Enterprise D sitting on the table. Because I
I
know
think
people
they
have
would
been
need
asking
more
for a
than just one
1000
cop
Enterprise D
at the
too.
door.
Yeah, they'd
Yeah.
need some
They'd have to have
some
some serious crowd control,
yeah, that would
extra
just
police and security.
that would blow people's minds. But yeah, a little disappointed that it doesn't look like they're going to have and the schedule could change in the next week. I don't know, but currently on the schedule, it's not showing anything for round two in the presentation room. So we'll see. We'll find out what we can. We'll talk to whoever's at the table. If it's not Jamie, we'll see who's there. But anyway, so moving on because I did promise you guys that I wouldn't keep this too long. But we've got number 9. Eat at local restaurants. So,
Need your money.
Absolutely.
what's that?
They need our money.
Yeah. Well,
I got to close the window. There's people outside talking. So
yeah. So, we always eat at local. We eat at the restaurant that's there at the hotel every time, at least once or twice. Usually it's breakfast because we're too lazy to go out and go somewhere else for breakfast. But dinner,
Exactly.
I think pretty much every night. I think maybe one night last year, Cass and I had dinner at the restaurant there, but usually we went somewhere else.
there
Um,
had to have been 30 of us.
oh, you talking about when
Yeah,
we
it
went
was a
out?
big crew.
Yeah, it was
We went
definitely a
out
big.
that yeah we had. I mean, everybody went out to eat at the same place at the same time. So we had like this big long table that spanned the entire length of the restaurant.
That was
Yeah,
amazing.
Well, we went to the Craft House Pizza, which is not far from the hotel, and I think we've gone there every year that we've been. because they have really good food there, a really good
Yeah,
pizza
We
there.
had
big
that
And
bird of
plug for
prey.
that place.
yes,
That
I think
Romulan
I
bird
think
of prey came with us. That
Yes.
huge one.
that was I
Even
think
the
that was Mike
waiters and
Hazelwood's.
waitresses love the models.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was Mike Hazelwood's
Yeah.
model, wasn't it?
Uh, no, I don't. The bird of prey wasn't Hazelwood's. Someone else had brought that.
Sure,
I
Was
I could
it
have
can't
was
sworn
remember
it
it was
Michael
who it
Mike's.
was.
Bednar?
No, Mike Bednar brought the 1350 Constitution.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. But yeah, it's a good time when we go out this. We go as a group at least twice. It seems like, and I know Chris. I know last year was your first year, but typically in years past,
Yeah.
we've always gone out at least once or twice with a big group, someplace. And last year, I think was the first time we've gone out twice in one Wonderfest with a big group. We went to Craft House
Let's top
Pizza.
it by going 3 times this year.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm down for that.
Friday night,
Yeah.
Saturday night, and Sunday night. And I didn't even know we were going
I'll
out.
drink to that.
Somebody
Yep.
came down. Cat. Somebody came down because the bar is like our hangout when we're at Wonderfest. The bar down in the lobby of the hotel. And
We're going to call the 10 Forward Lounge.
yeah, we're gonna rename it this year, 10 Forward. But we would just be down there hanging out, and somebody would be like, "Hey, we're all going out to dinner. Y'all want to come?" Yeah, we all. It's like that, you know. It's like that. People just come by and say, "Hey, we're all going out to dinner," and we'll just scoot out the door with them, go eat dinner, and congregate, talk to people, and it's just a great way to talk to people that love building models and love sci-fi horror, and it's a great community to get involved with there. So definitely go out and eat at other restaurants besides the hotel, though. I don't remember the name of the barbecue place we went to last year, but it was awesome.
Yeah, that
I
place
know
was amazing.
Louisville's got a bunch of barbecue places I'm sure are just as good, but I wish I could remember what the name of that place was, and somebody maybe that went with us last year can maybe put in the comments later what that name of that restaurant was. But it was, oh god, it was good barbecue. We just had a long table. There was like what, 10, 12, 15 of us at that table sitting there eating.
That's modest. It was more
No,
than
I think
that.
that's the one where I think we had 30 people.
Is that the
Yeah.
one where the bigger
It
one?
was
Easily.
It was
Yeah.
like 30 people. It was just everybody.
It
Yeah.
was
All
30
the
people
regular.
and one waiter.
Yeah, we had one poor guy.
And you know what?
But he did
was
good.
such
He
a
did good.
sport.
Yes, he did good.
Yeah. We
He
were
kept
all
up.
cheering his name and he was getting into it. And I mean, he kept everything straight. He was flying around like a man possessed.
For the
Yeah.
honor
Good on
of the
him.
barbecue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
it
got
was.
a very good tip that night.
It's great.
Yeah,
So,
he was great.
but you don't have to be part of
I'd
a
be
big
willing to
group
bet
to
he's waiting for us to come back this year.
probably.
Well, let's not
Well,
disappoint him then.
I
Yep.
think we tipped pretty good last year. So, but you don't have to be part of a big group to do stuff like that. You know, just hang out in the bar downstairs and mingle and get to talking to some people. I mean, last year was the first year that Cass and I are the only ones that have hung out with each other regularly there. But I mean, last year was the first year we had Chris. You joined us. Scott joined us. I
Yep.
think last year was Scott's first year too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I have to
I'm
ask him.
pretty
I'm not
sure.
sure if he'd been
He
before
may
or
have
not.
been there 1 year in the past.
Yeah.
I don't think it was his first, but he hadn't been there in a while. But it was my first.
But
And you know what you're saying about meeting friends and everything at Wonderfest. What an amazing experience it is, because I'm coining the term adopt a clan, because that's how it felt. I came into Wonderfest with one friend and everyone's like, hey, come join us. And by the end, that one friend had multiplied into 30 people that I've stayed regularly in contact all year long. It's you make groups of friends, and everybody who comes to these things, we all have the same goals, we all have the same dreams, the same enjoyments. To be able to share that with people with like minds, it's a wonderful experience, and the camaraderie is off the charts, and everyone is so accepting, and you find your people.
right.
You find your people, and then those people, they stick around.
And
You
hold
know,
that
whether
thought.
it's-
Hold that thought.
Yeah.
Hold that thought 1 second, because this actually goes into my last topic, which is, if I can get it to pull up, socialize. Just yeah, that was a great segue, because that's my last bullet. Was number 10 is socialize. Talk to people. Go down to the bar, talk to people. Like I said, there's always those rooms that are open that they welcome for people just to kind of walk in and chat about things. And then we've had those gatherings where we go out in mass to some place and just
Mhm.
enjoy socializing and talking to people. And it's just that to me that's one of the best aspects of Wonder. Better than I don't go there to go around the vendor room because half the time I walk around the vendor room is stuff I can get off eBay, Amazon, wherever. I can get it online. I don't have to go there to get it. I go there to kind of meet some of the celebrities. Like this year, we're going to have Robin Curtis there, which is going to be kind of cool. Marta's
Oh
going to be
yeah.
there again this year. Um, and a couple, there's going to be a bunch of different guest appearances there this year. But I go for the camaraderie and for the socializing and talking to everybody. And I love, and it's not just people I'm familiar with. Last year, like I said, it's the first year that we hung out, Chris, and
Yeah.
we had a great time. I mean, I loved it. It was a lot of fun, and I think that's one of the better aspects of Wonderfest. It's a great community to kind of go in and just talk to people. Just hang out and talk to
And
people.
anybody who's watching this stream, anybody who's planning on coming, find us. You know, these bald guys right here and that guy over there has a little bit of hair.
Yeah, the
Find
guy with
us,
the little
and come
ponytail,
have a
that's
drink
me.
with us. You know,
You'll probably find
we'll
us in
show
the
you around.
bar. Probably find us in the bar because it's almost always where we seem to hang out until it's like that's like our ready room. It's like where we hang out
Yep.
until the next mission comes up and it's like, okay, let's go. That's where
Yep.
we're going.
Yeah, or
So
hey, y'all coming? We're
yeah,
gonna do, yeah,
in between everything, that's kind
exactly.
of kind of where we're at. If we're not upstairs sleeping or something like that, we're usually down in the bar hanging out, just chatting, about
No
anything and
conga
everything we
lines
can.
this time. No, we'll keep it there.
So let's see how low you can go. We're gonna do one of those things. See how low the bar can go, and you can fit under it.
Oh yeah,
No.
that bar goes pretty low.
But that's pretty much what I had. Those are the top 10 things that I came up with as far as what I thought people should know going to Wonderfest the first time. Um, and I think we put a decent amount of information out. So, I mean, is there anything else you guys want to kind of throw in there? Is there anything that you guys can think of that maybe I didn't think of?
Well, it's as far as conventions go, I've been very privileged to have attended different kinds of cons from Las Vegas all the way over to Pennsylvania and New Jersey. And when you get to different fandoms, there's different expectations sometimes. And I didn't really know what to expect coming into something like Wonderfest. I had never been, I mean, I've been a model builder my whole life, but I've never really congregated with others of my kind. So don't I put myself out there and made the effort to talk to people, and it really paid out in spades because you find amazing people to hang out with, and like we said, and congregate with, and friends that you'll make that are going to stick around for a long time to come. It's all about the camaraderie and the experience. That it's an experience that'll stick with you for a long time, and it
And
makes you
Chris
want
is
to come
proof
back and do it
positive.
again.
Chris is proof positive that we'll let anybody hang out with us.
Exactly. Hey, they almost kicked me out of the airbrushing room because I was having a little bit too much fun in there, and
Yeah,
I'm coming back this time.
you weren't inhaling the paint fumes, were you?
Oh no, it was more exhaling the brush, and
Oh, jeez.
everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, again, just, if you go in there, if this is your first time, don't keep to yourself. Talk to people. If you see me sitting there, you see any of us guys sitting there, come over and start chatting with us. We're always up to meeting new people and having new conversations because, talking to Cass after 4 years, stuff can get a little boring sometimes,
You
talking
thought
to
that
Cass.
too? Only a year, yeah.
I'm just kidding. Cass is always great
Yeah,
conversation.
we
We,
love you, Cass. It's great. It's great.
we,
Well, I was gonna maybe add on to what Chris had said. I've gone to some of these. I've gone to cons before too, and yeah, you meet a few people there, and you meet celebrities there. But Wonderfest is so different. You don't yeah, you meet a lot of people, but these people stick with you. Um,
Mhm.
I have way more. I've been to way more Star Trek conventions than I've been to Wonderfests, and almost all of the people that I still keep in contact with are people I met at Wonderfest.
Very true.
And you know, the people you meet, we're from all different walks of life. We may differ on religion, we may differ on politics, but we have one thing in common, and that is something that is much bigger than we are, and that is our love for the hobby. And
Absolutely.
no matter what your differences are, we are a family when it comes to the hobby, and I think that's why we keep coming back, and we just want to meet more people. And I know I was reluctant to go to Wonderfest the first time. Steve Iverson kind of talked me into it, uh, and I went not knowing what to expect, and I haven't looked back.
Yeah,
So
definitely. And not to get off topic, but I'm just realizing I totally ignored the chat. So I'm sorry, guys. I've had people have been saying stuff on the chat, and I've totally been ignored. I just totally forgot the chat. But Matthew Poe, thanks for joining us. He mentions don't touch the preciouses, and I think didn't somebody have that down on one of the cards last year? Don't touch the preciouses.
I don't know, but it sounds like it should have been if it wasn't.
Red shirt Bob
what was
checked
that? I
in.
didn't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Matthew Pope, he had commented, "Don't touch the preciouses. Don't touch the precious." The precious.
Hmm.
You're having a hard time hearing me for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on. We'll have to figure that out for the next one. See,
Yeah, it
he's
wouldn't
not
be a complete video with some audio issues.
he's nodding his head like, and he probably doesn't understand what I said. It's all good. Let's see, red shirt Bob, a little late. Good to see your red shirts. Matthew Paul also commented, Aaron Skinner is in charge of sci-fi stuff from round two now. He's apparently from Fine Scale Modeler, so I guess we'll be looking for Aaron then at the convention.
We'll find Aaron.
Jamie Hood's probably not going to be there. Yeah, we kind of figured we knew Jamie wasn't going to be there. He said last year was his last year, so that's unfortunate. Always enjoy hearing what round two has to do, but maybe Aaron will have some updates for us if at the booth, if not in a presentation. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Like I said, we'll do a kind of Wonderfest kickoff next weekend or next Friday. Excuse me. We'll do it next Friday, 7 o'clock local time, so that would be 8 p.m. Eastern time. We'll kind of all get together. It'll be me, Cass, Chris. We'll see who else we can get joined in. I think Scott's going to sit in with us.
I will try to get there on time.
Yeah, well,
So,
we're going to have to start without you, so hopefully you get there in
yeah,
time.
no, do what you got to do.
But I know
Don't
Chris
worry,
said
I'll
he's
tell
going to be
that
there
one
early.
joke I know.
No, jeez.
Just keep telling the same one over and over too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll do like a Wonderfest kickoff next year. We'll talk about the schedule some more and talk about what we've enjoyed from previous Wonderfest, what we're looking forward to this Wonderfest, and maybe what we hope to see from a Wonderfest in the future. But anyway, guys, I think that's a good amount of tips to kind of give to people. I think if you haven't been to Wonderfest before, this will kind of give you an idea of what to expect when you go there, hopefully. And if not, if you plan on going next year, make sure you catch the rest of the streams. We're going to be doing a couple of them from Wonderfest. Like I said, we're going to do a kickoff. We'll do a wrap up on Sunday as well, and then we'll see what we do Saturday. I haven't decided yet, but I'll try to put up some kind of schedule for everybody to kind of get an idea what we're going to do. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you two for joining me on this stream and kind of having a little chat about what to expect if you haven't been to
Thanks for the
Wonderfest before.
invite.
No, absolutely. It's always a good conversation, good times, and I'm looking forward to being in person next week so we can have a couple drinks together and have some fun and see what kind of good food we can come up with. So,
Amen to that. And for everybody coming from a distance, make sure you drive safely, and we'll see you there.
yep, sounds good.
Absolutely.
Everybody take care, and we will